Hello dear students, today we will start our class with the point composition of the Constituent Assembly. Dear students, after the division of our country under the plan of June 3, 1947, the Constituent Assembly was also divided. Muslim League went into Pakistan, and in this way the number of members of Constituent Assembly was reduced to 299. Initially, when it was framed before the partition of country, the number of members in the Constituent Assembly was 389, but after partition it was reduced to 299. And out of these 299 members, only 284 members adopted the constitution on November 6, 1949, as this date is mentioned in the preamble of Indian Constitution. And on this date, 26th November 1949, our constitution was drafted, completed and adopted by 284 members of Indian Constituent Assembly. But here the question, what about the leftover members who did not sign? The members who did not sign on Indian Constitution or did not adopt Indian Constitution gave their argument that they did not follow the Constitution because they thought that there are so many differences in that Constitution. That's why they did not adopted Indian Constitution. But 284 members adopted and signed that Indian Constitution. And the time consumed in the drafting of Indian Constitution was 2 years, 11 months and 18 days. And in this duration of time of 2 years, 11 months and 18 days, totally 11 sittings of Indian Constitution took place, and the final and 12th sitting was held on January 24, 1950. In this way, there were total 12 sittings in the process of drafting of Indian Constitution. So it is a very important question, and it can be asked how many sittings were held in the formation of Indian Constitution. So the right answer will be 12. Clear? So this was the composition of Indian Constitution, and one more thing, especially the division. Members were reduced, and at that time there was one dominating party, that was Indian National Congress. It occupied around 82% of seats in Indian Constituent Assembly. As it was a broad political party, so members from all the sections, all the communities of society were present in Indian National Congress. So we cannot say that Indian National Congress was only the parties of a single group or single community. It have proper and equal representation of almost each and every community. So next one, the principle of deliberation. Dear students, as we know, the main party was Congress. But in that Congress, the members from each community, general, scheduled, Muslims, all these members were present. So the deliberation of the work was quite balanced, and the members of Constituent Assembly were representing their communities. And more important thing is that before representing their community, all the members represented the nation. They considered the welfare of nation first and then community. And in this way, they made a proper balance, and they thought only about one nation, not about several communities. So this was the principle of deliberation. Each law, each section, each draft produced in the Indian Constituent Assembly was properly discussed. Positive and negative impacts were properly discussed in the Constituent Assembly. And there was only one draft, only one, that was accepted without any discussion, and that draft was right to vote after obtaining a certain age. And this right was given to every citizen without any discussion in the Constituent Assembly. And the right to vote, age for right to vote, it was 21 year. After attaining the age of 21 year, every Indian citizen used to get right to vote. But now it is reduced to only 18 years. So after completing 18 years, every citizen of India naturally gets right to vote. So only this draft was not discussed, as all the members of the society were quite agree at this point. So it was passed unanimously. So what was next point? Next point is procedure. Students, as we know, the formation of constitution was a very cumbersome work. That's why it was decided that all the members will work in different committees. That's why 8 committees were constituted in that Constituent Assembly, and all those 8 committees were assigned their different and separate work. So in this way, the whole Constituent Assembly was divided into 8 separate committees, and those 8 separate committees accomplished their tasks very well, considering the India first. And those 8 committees were mainly chaired by Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, Rajendra Prasad, Sardar Patel, B.R. Ambedkar. And out of these 8 committees, there was very important committee, that was drafting committee, and it was chaired by Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, the Manu of modern India. He was a great scholar, lawyer, and very energetic member of Indian Constituent Assembly. He worked on his drafting committee very well and prepared second draft within a short period of time. Earlier, the work assigned to drafting committee was to examine the draft produced by M.N. Roy. While M.N. Roy was not the member of Indian Constituent Assembly. And one more thing also, Mahatma Gandhi was also not the member of Indian Constituent Assembly. but it had influence over the policies to be framed in Indian Constituent Assembly. So the procedure was uh, to divide Constituent Assembly into different, especially 8 committees and some subcommittees, and those were chaired by some eminent leaders like Nehru, Patel, B.R. Ambedkar and Rajendra Prasad. So in this way the work was done. And next one, inheritance of the nationalist movement. So dear students, as we know, before getting free, India was the slave and India was governed by the British, and they oppressed Indians in each and every way. They exploited us as much as they could. So the members who were present in that Constituent Assembly, they fought against these policies of the British, and they knew the every base of Indians. That's why the policies, all the drafts which were produced in Indian Constituent Assembly had aim for the development of the poorest of the poor people in society. So the main target of the Constituent Assembly was to frame such laws which can develop the life and position economy of the poor people. And in this way, when the poor will progress, then the country will itself make progress. So this was inheritance from the nationalist movements, and they shaped the best constitution, which is the world's largest written constitution, and it is quite balanced, flexible as well as hard constitution. So they included each and every law which is beneficial for Indian citizens, like equality, liberty, democracy, sovereignty, and cosmopolitan identity. So they thought about each and every, even a very minor point. In this way, the constitution was drawn. So here are some points which you have to read yourself. And next one, institutional arrangement. Dear students, the members thought in their minds that there may not be any system, any loophole for any government to be tyrant. That's why they framed quite balanced condition. They divided powers between various constituent institutions. They gave right to parliament to pass any law. On the other hand, they made the post of president who can stop that law. And the second opinion is that Indian Constitution gave the power to review to the Supreme Court of India. Then he can declare any law passed by government, if it is not in favor of public, unconstitutional, then that law will naturally be abolished. So in this way, by creating institutions like the Supreme Court, independent judiciary, independent election commission, they created a perfect balance. So it is rightly said that the members of Constituent Assembly represented India, not their community. So in the making of Constituent Assembly, The members of Indian Constituent Assembly studied about 60 constitutions of the world, and they took all the good things from those 60 constitutions. That's why it is said that Indian Constitution is a bag of borrowings. But it doesn't matter. We have good things, positive things. From where we have taken it means only for exams. Next one. So chapter completes here, and here are some provisions which we adopted from various countries. What are those? We adopted parliamentary forms of government, the idea of the rule of law, institution of the speaker and her role, law-making procedure from the British Constitution, directive principles of state policy which are present in part 4 from article 36 to 51 from Irish Constitution. And from French Revolution we have taken the idea of liberty, equality and fraternity. These things are taken from French Constitution. And next one, we have taken fundamental rights, power of judicial review and independence of the judiciary. These points we have taken from the Constitution of the USA. And next one, from Canadian Constitution we have taken a quasi-federal form of government. It means federation of governments at the state and a powerful government in the center. The idea of residual powers which are in the hand of the president, these powers are taken from the Constituent Assembly. And on the other hand, we have taken some provisions of presidential rule or emergencies from Germany, and the provision for amendment in the Constitution we have taken from the Constitution of South Africa. So in this way, the members of Constituent Assembly tried their best to include the best ideas in Indian Indian Constitution. And when it was prepared, then all 284 members adopted it on November 26, 1949. But it was enacted on January 26, 1950. And on the same day when the Constitution was enacted on January 26, 1950, India became republic. India became a republic country on 26th January 1950. So dear students, here completes our chapter, and in next class we will discuss some other chapter. Till then, keep learning and take good care of your health. Thank you.